Hey Nick, thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Just so it's not weird, we did just do this whole interview and I didn't hit record. So if everything sounds pre-recorded and robotic, that's kind of why.
Yeah, and if there's a little bit more giggling than usual, that's probably why too.
Tell me where it all started, man. What made you want to get into this?
All right, so what made me want to get into this was an artist by the name of Madian. Probably a lot of people know him. He's quite popular, but I heard him back in high school, early high school, year seven probably, and he just blew my mind. He had this sound that's exciting and energetic, and it just made me go, right, people make stuff with this. Actually, um, Pop Culture, which is his little video where he makes a mashup on the launch pad, that made me go, oh, what is that? And I did research and I was able to find out about producing. And so he is like the catalyst for me wanting to get into production and music and mixing and all that kind of stuff.
And what was the first step into, like, what was the hardest part getting into music?
The hardest part of getting into music was the know-how, especially as a 13-year-old uh, in a high school in Australia who doesn't know what the first thing about music production is. Understanding where to go, and back in that time, which was probably, I know that sounds like I'm old, I'm not that old, but like there wasn't like a lot of YouTube tutorials. Like you go on now, and it's just full of YouTube tutorials on everything. Like you can get started straight away. No learning curve. Oh, there is a learning curve, but not as like steep. You can really get your hands in. I didn't know what it was. I thought you DJ'd, and that was what it was. So I would say getting in, the hardest part was actually understanding what you needed to do.
Yeah. And what's been the hardest part of your music career, the music journey now?
Right now, so it was the self-doubt of
Mhm.
wanting to know, am I good enough? And like my production good enough? Is my sound good enough? Is my mixing good enough? Blah, 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 blah. And like it goes on and it can really stunt creativity, at least for me. So I would say that was it. And, I think sometimes it's warranted. You doubt yourself and you go, right, well, actually, I found a problem with this and I can fix it, or I can find a new sound, or damn, this is trash. Like, I need a new drum set. I need a new synth. I need a new bass. This intro is trash. But like most of the time, you're overthinking it, or at least I am. Like I'm a massive overthinker. And now I think I've come to a place where I'm a little bit more confident with what I've got, because it genuinely sounds pretty good. Not to toot my own horn, I'm not trying to, but I am trying to be a bit more positive about my stuff. And I think it's, at a level where I can doubt myself less, but doubt can be good, but yeah, it can be really stunting if you let it overtake you. So,
And if you could tell 13-year-old Nick anything now, what would it be?
I would say slow down. Like you don't need to start putting things out. You can just produce and produce and produce. I'd also say listen, and I would just say be patient.
And before you became Carmelo, you did go under Xanax. Tell me a little
Yeah,
bit about that and the progression of where you are now with Carmelo.
yeah, Xanax. That's really funny. Such a bad name. Yeah, so it's actually started even further back than that in year seven as the great name Meh, MEH 2.0. Really good name, really bad name. But that's where it started. And then I think I changed it to something like Arts and Crafts with a Z, but that wasn't very good. And then I changed it to, there was something in between, Gallery. I changed my name to Gallery and I thought, yeah, this is going to be really cool. I'm going to make floomy stuff. Like this is going to be really crazy. Didn't happen. I had a name of Apostles of with my mate Tim, which we actually got onto a rip collab with in one of our songs, which was really cool.
Oh,
They nearly didn't pay us, which was crazy, but and then we stopped doing that. And then I had Xanax because I was like, yeah, dubstep. I need something a bit edgy. Xanax is a drug. And I'm going to put axe on the end with an E. So it sounds like I'm chopping something.
yeah.
Anyway, and then my Spaces, he helped me out, and he's like, that's not a good name. Just straight up, not a good name. And at the time, my name on Facebook where we were messaging was Nick Carmelo, because as a teacher, your last name, you really don't want kids to know that. So they don't come and, friend you or anything. So I had Nick Carmelo because Carmelo is my middle name. It's my grandfather's name, my nonno. And he's like, just use your name, Nick Carmelo. It sounds cool. And I did. I changed it to that. And then finally, recently, obviously, I'm now just Carmelo. I just wanted to drop the Nick, really succinct, straightforward Carmelo, very easy to understand and remember. And I think it also shows that my brand is fully focused now. And I think it's fully formed. I think it's really it's taken a while and a lot of learning, but it's more fully formed and prepared, if you will.
And from 2013 to now, have you ever felt like giving up? Because you said you had some self-doubt and all that stuff.
Yeah, of course. Early on, it was just like, go, go, go. I just didn't care. I thought everything I was making was great because I had no context. And then I became an actual adult, or maybe a preteen. And then I was like, yeah, no, this isn't great. But I guess more recently, actually, I would say maybe in the last year, there's been more doubt where it's like, okay, why am I even bothering? But really, they're quite fleeting. And as a person who feels they're quite creative and really does enjoy producing and doing all this stuff, and you put in the hard yards, but in the end, it shows. So yeah, I've thought of it, but really, it only lasts 30 minutes, and then you're back at it, or you go, no, you know what, mate, you'll just get it again another time. So yeah.
Being a teacher, has any of your kids ever heard your music?
Not yet.
No,
not yet. Early on in my teaching career, I was tempted to, but I didn't in the end. And those kids that I first taught are now my year 6 kids, which is really cool. Still haven't heard it. Maybe they'll hear it at the end of the year. Maybe they won't. I'm just trying to keep that separate. I think it's very important, especially, when you're working with kids and in a community, just, you don't have to share everything with everyone. But it is a big part of my life, and they know I make music. They do know I make music, but they don't know anything else other than that. So they haven't heard it yet. I don't think they'd like it if they heard it.
Yeah, you said they're year 6. I don't think that's their type of music. It's hard to get
definitely not
the younger generation engaged.
Yeah, look, they're very much into a lot of hip hop, a lot of pop, and especially 1-4 in our community. If you know where Mount Druitt is, that's where around where I'm teaching. So yeah, so they definitely don't like that kind of stuff, but there's a chance.
How would you describe your sound? Because you're a bass music artist, right?
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, bass music, primarily dubstep, but I can do everything. No, but I would say my sound is industrial. Is the main one, energetic and industrial. The main words I use, and I use that because at least in Tear Out, which is a sub-genre of dubstep, which is quite a lot harder. A lot of the drums, a lot of the basses, they're quite tinny, metallic, as if they were coming from a machine. They're like mechanical and offbeat and almost like a machine breaking down. And that's why I would use the word industrial. I think that encapsulates the idea of the music I'm making. Yeah.
And you did throw up a showcase on your SoundCloud?
Yes, I did.
Are any of those tracks finished? And when are we going to get them?
Yeah, so we've got a few finished tracks in there and a few whips, works in progress. There's a lot of acronyms in electronic music. But yeah, a few finished ones. In fact, we'll be getting one of them shortly. But we have a few unfinished ones in there, but it's really good because I've had someone reach out who wants to collaborate, which is really great on one of them. But they're all close to finish at the very least. And in fact, a lot of the ones on there were made in the last 5 days, which is insane because, like I was saying, I had a lot of self-doubt before, and actually I think I had good reason for some of it because doing this new thing has really just gone, like I said, the idea is to be focused and to have high quality music, I think. Well, I don't want to be seen as a beginner anymore. I want to be seen as someone who is to look out for. And I heard some of my older music, which I had a nice bank of, and I said, unfortunately, none of this is good enough. I've put in hours to these songs, but I can't just put it in just to fill time on this showcase. I need to make new music that actually represents me and has a high quality. And so I spent a lot of time over the last 5 days, late nights, early mornings, working on songs, getting ideas. And I think they turned out really well. And I'm really proud of them, actually, to be honest. The newer stuff is even, I would say, my favorite stuff. And it's only been made in the last 5 days. So really that showcase is really showing like current Carmelo.
If you don't mind me asking, do you have a partner?
I do, yes. Yeah. My partner's name is Vanessa, and she's one of the people who got me into dubstep music.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah. It was really
How
cool.
do you balance your life, music and teaching? Like all that.
Music and teaching. So
life.
It's kind of different. And life itself. Yeah, it can be difficult. So unfortunately for me as a producer, I have a lot of hobbies other than producing. So I want to do them all. So like I go to the gym 5 days a week on a really strict program, like heavy lifting kind of stuff. And I want to do really well in that. And then I've got producing, and I've got teaching, of course, my profession. And then I also have my lovely partner who I want to spend time with. I also really enjoy being a critic of movies, and I really enjoy gaming as well. And so, okay, there's all this random shit that I do. So the way I balance it is I just need to make more time for each thing. I need kind of like to prioritize what I need first, because sometimes I just go, I need it all, or I'm not going to be, happy with anything. I think really that's not true. I do need to prioritize the more important things. Obviously, most important, my partner and my relationship. And then we've got, producing, gym, and then all that other stuff that I was talking about. That can go to the side. With teaching, usually I really put my 100% into teaching. I do enjoy teaching a lot. And if my music is going to stop me from doing a good job, I do put it to the side sometimes. But currently, because we're in lockdown, I've just been able to do a lot more. Gives us a lot more free time and freedom. But I think when I go back, the way I'll be balancing it is I'm just going to have to, set actual timers for things and give myself allotted time to do everything. Because if I don't, I go a whole week without producing, and it's just the weekend. But then the weekend's also for me and my partner, and or seeing friends. So timing things, actually giving allotments to what I need to do.
Well, given the fact that you're in lockdown, you could probably smash out like 6 tracks, an EP, and an album before everything goes back to normal.
I'm actually, what's funny? I probably will, because we're locked down until the end of September. And not only will I have, lockdown teaching, but after that I'll have holidays. So I will actually have 2 weeks of uninterrupted freedom inside. But I think you're going to be seeing a lot of new tracks from me very consistently. And then I'm just going to have to keep that up. I'm going to have to hold myself accountable.
You did say you're a movie critic?
I'm not actually. I just really, really enjoy watching films and actually deeply thinking about them more than just that was a cool film. I like Marvel. Not that Marvel's bad. I'm also a DC super nerd, but I enjoy watching films and actually thinking about them and
bagging them out online.
No, unfortunately I haven't got to that level of cheesy. I don't think I would get to that. I like just doing it by myself.
Just sitting in a room. Like, that movie was good. Could have been better.
Yeah, that's right. Good on you, Nick. You figured it out, mate.
What's your favorite movie? One. We'll just go with one favorite movie.
I actually do have one. Grand Budapest Hotel. Wes Anderson. That is a fantastic film.
The worst movie you ever seen so far?
So far? Look, I've actually unfortunately seen a few really bad movies recently, being last year. Before that, it was this movie called Iron Skies, but that was bad on purpose. I don't know if you ever saw it. It was about Nazis in space. It was like on purpose ridiculous. Okay. And there was some really weird stuff in it, and it was like a proper public film. But I would say the worst film I have seen recently was the Fantastic Beasts sequel, and Where to Find Them. That sucked. That was so bad, that film. Oh my God. Like, yeah, no,
I
I
haven't seen
hated that
any of
film.
those, so
Oh,
probably
the
a good
first
thing.
one's fun, but the second one is just like the structure is off. The dialogue makes no sense. The way they go from scene to scene just does not make it. It's just you don't understand what's happening, which is really bad in a film. You need to know what's happening,
Hmm.
you know. And like I've seen The Room, but that's just fun to watch. I don't know if you've seen The Room. Like that film is really funny.
Nah, I'm glad I haven't seen any of them, because if you're telling me that they're bad, that's a good thing. Saved me about an hour and a
That's
half
it.
of my time.
Yeah, that's it. Good assumption.
Tell me a bit about the Den. That's your show.
the Yeah, so it's a show. It's like a combination of people, but it's a show made by me and Aiden Plumera. He goes by, great musician. He's awesome. You should check him out. Anyone watching? But like, it's basically our way of trying to give back to the community. We're trying to put on a show for those artists who are sub 1,000 followers, because at least in in the scene of like electronic music, I would say in general in Sydney, and maybe bass music more, like sub 1,000 followers on any platform really means that you're kind of not reaching a lot of people, and you're still building that fan base. Once you get 1,000, it kind of moves from there. At least that's what I see, because I'm not even at 1,000 yet.
Hmm.
But it's really hard, especially in Sydney, to get shows. Like, you think about it, there's not many shows for bass music generally. So how is someone who has 200, 300, all the way up to 1,000 followers even going to get on to a stage? And, Laundry's gone. So that one was really good for people who were like just beginning, because they gave them a chance. But that's gone, and there's not a lot for people. So we decided we're going to make a small event, 100 people. Hopefully, we're actually looking to expand it, because we have a little bit more time. We found a few more venues that might be willing to have us. And basically, we just want to support these artists that we know are great financially, and with an audience. Like we are going to be paying these guys, and getting them to play in front of a crowd that is there to see them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I personally can't stress it enough, but support your locals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hugely, and like we have that Sydney Bass Brigade, and like if we could get people more active and really just supporting the locals, or just support your mates. If you see they're doing something, just listen to the song, repost it if you have a SoundCloud, or share their story. Like people are just kind of learning that. At least my mates are learning that. When they do that, it actually really helps, and I'm very, very grateful for them. Like shout out to Zach Wiltshire, legend. He always does it for me, and like there's a bunch of people, and you just gotta, because they're not going to go anywhere, unfortunately. And there's a lot of these artists. Like I would say the great thing about bass music right now is that they're underground artists, underground being like 1,000 to 4,000, let's say, or 1,000 to 10,000. They're the best music right now. Like I all my playlists are full of them. And yes, because I'm in that scene, but also because they're creative and they're professional, and they're trying something new, and they're going to come up and just like blow the roof off. And I mean, we were talking about it before the re-record, Leo Tricks. Like he's blown the hell up, and that's because he's off the wall crazy with his production, and I think, small artists need that recognition. So support them, and they could be the ones that take off, and, you could be watching your mate on a massive stage. I think it's really nice. It can be really positive if you support your locals.
Yeah. You did say something about 1,000 followers, but I'll quote you here. Next step for me is 1,000 followers on SoundCloud and signed to a well-known label. What's a well-known label that you would love to be signed to?
I would love to be signed to Audio Records. I think everyone would love to be signed to Never Say Die. Everyone would love to be signed to Disciple. And of course, I would love to be there. But I think a label that I've discovered that I've also been a consistent fan of every release they have, and they release really frequently as well, is Audio. And it's because they're running this underground sound that is so professional and so unique, and still I think could, go to the masses, and people would love it, especially in that, bass music scene. I just love them, and they have such a good ethos. So they are the guys who I think my music really relates to, at least the new stuff that you would have heard on the showcase. I think that's the place I would love to be. And then obviously Disciple and all that. Like I love them, and they're awesome, and they seem super nice. But yeah, currently that's the goal.
Yeah. Have you sent anything to them yet, or are you just holding out?
So I haven't, because I'm holding out for maybe the next week and finalizing everything, making sure it's really nice. And then I am going to start sending out stuff to record labels, yes. But not just yet, because I don't want to shoot myself in the foot. Something I've done in the past is just go. And then I look back and go, oh, there was this mistake. So I'm trying to be a lot more considered, even if that does take a little longer. You know, I don't think you have to have a label release straight away. I will be releasing by myself for my first release. And I think that's totally fine. Gives me more freedom. It helps me drive that story of the Carmelo character, my little dude named Carmelo. So I think I will wait out, but not for too long, maybe a week or two, finalize some mixes and then send them out, because I do think they're at a level where we being me, can, you know, start to approach a label that is a little bigger and potentially have a chance.
Yeah. There's a few good local ones around in Sydney here. Like Worstville and Worstville. They're
Worstville.
Yeah.
Yeah, I listened through their recent one. They had Custom on there, and they had Bomb from Sydney as well, right? I think they're from Sydney.
Yeah. And
I know Custom is
made by Suki.
Yes, that's right. And then there was a few other people. I'm actually from that. Ended up connecting with one of them, and I think he's from the Netherlands. But yeah, the Worstville seems cool. They're on my list as well. There's a lot of, like, I have a notes thing of labels that I really want to send music to, that I think I connect with. Not just random labels, because I think another mistake old me made was just send it out to all the labels. But sometimes your music doesn't connect with those labels, and then they've got your name and they're like, well, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. So yeah, I've made a nice list, and yes, Worstville is actually on there.
I feel like labels need to market you. So if you're self-releasing, you've dropped 10 really good tracks, they'll see that and they'll sign you straight away. You know what I mean? But if you've just dropped like 1 or 2 good tracks, they're going to look at you and go, what else do you have other than this one you sent us?
Right.
You know? So self-releasing, nothing wrong with self-releasing.
Exactly. And especially for someone like me, I like literally went back and deleted all my old stuff. It's gone. So really, it will look like 1 or 2 releases. And I think you're 100% right. I think for me and for anyone out there who's at my level or lower or higher, even, you know, self-releases are fine. I've done them before and they're great. And if you have a good community, they can, you know, take off a little bit and, you know, get you some good traction.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with self-releasing at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. Can be really good.
Yeah. Some questions to get to know you a little bit better. What's your favorite food?
Chicken tacos.
Yeah.
Hands down. Love chicken tacos. And in lockdown, I've made a heap of them. And I've been trying to make, I don't know if you like it, but I love Guzman's. Guzman Y Gomez. I love their food. And I've been trying to make a version of that I found on the internet, which I think I actually did, which is really good. I've got this marinade down. So yes, chicken tacos for sure.
PlayStation or Xbox?
Xbox, hands down. Halo, big Halo fan, big Halo nerd. Yeah, definitely.
Netflix or Disney Plus?
Netflix, because of the variety. I do like, I think, I don't know if I said it before or not, I'm a massive Star Wars fan, massive nerd. And they've got all the Star Wars stuff on there, of course. Like Bad Batch recently was awesome. Mandalorian was great. You know, we got to see Ahsoka Tano, like she's awesome. But even though I'm a massive fan of that, the rest, I really only watch that stuff on it. Maybe a few Marvel things, but not really. So Netflix is the one I'd probably go to even more than that.
Do you recommend anything on Netflix? One thing?
What have I watched recently that was good? That's on Netflix. Like you could watch The Office and Parks and Rec. They're just awesome. But what's something I'm just trying to think. Oh, yes, I do. Mindhunter. That show is awesome. That show is hands down one of my, like, probably my favorite TV show of all time. Mindhunter. That is an awesome show, and I think it is a Netflix original. So
I'll have to check it out.
oh, please do.
Yeah. Vegemite, love it or hate it?
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess I get why people don't like it, but it is so good. And Vegemite shapes. That when that came out, that changed my life.
And what's your biggest conspiracy?
When you gave me this question before, that was funny, but I've got it now. So I think just the way the government works with the media is really strange and not clear to the public. And I think that's kind of like the biggest thing. But when it comes to actual conspiracies like flat Earth and all that, nah, not a chance. No. Not a chance.
I still think that the Earth could be flat.
Oh, mate, get out. Out.
Because you're a teacher, what's your favorite subject to teach?
Yeah, so I think science. I think it's really cool. It can be really fun, very factual, but also a lot of experimenting and working with the real world. And then I realized when I said that last time, I should have said music. But I genuinely like teaching science a lot more because I guess the elements of music that we teach are quite basic, even though they are, important and, to actually understanding it. I think if you're going to become a producer, learning that stuff early, great. But it's not as hands-on, I would say, as science, which you actually work with real, formulas and you hypothesize and you experiment. And it's great. Yeah. So science.
Before we wrap this up, do you have anything to say to your ever-growing fan base?
I would say thank you so much for being around, supporting. Like the support I've been getting recently has just been wonderful. And the comments I've been getting about the new music is honestly heartwarming. I've heard some comments that I've never heard before that I've just wanted to hear my whole producing career. So I'd say thank you and stick around because I've organized a lot. I'm organizing and have organized a lot of stuff. I'm more prepared this time. I'm ready to go. And I think it's going to be a good journey if you stick around.
And to anyone who isn't following you, what do you have to say to them?
I would say, I hope sometime soon that you hopefully get to know my music. You can hear it and hopefully connect with it in some way. And if not, just chat. I don't mind just meeting people. I don't mind if you're not a fan of my music. I just think the community, the one great thing about bass music is we have a really strong community, very positive community. Reach out. I'm happy to chat. If you like some of the songs, you don't know who I am, you want to become a fan, ask for one of the songs. I'll give you a dub plate. I'll give you a pre-release, I just want to get to know people. I think that's a massive message I want to send out there.
And you should know this from before, but where can we find you?
Down below.
Yeah.
All links down below.
What can we expect from you in the future? Do you have anything coming up?
Yep, definitely. So in the future, we've got a release hopefully happening in the next 2 weeks. Already started organizing the artwork for that with my the artist that's been doing the Carmelo monster. His name is Mania. If you want to check him out, he's really, really talented. And then we've got merch coming in September, which is fantastic. It's going to be very high quality, and I think people are going to really enjoy it. We've got a mix coming out hopefully in the next few weeks that I'll be doing this weekend actually for Bass Oz, who are an awesome group that have been just pushing bass music in Australia recently. So I'm really, really happy they asked me to do a mix for them. And then more releases. Hopefully we'll see Carmelo on a few labels soon. So yeah, that's what you can expect.
Awesome. Does your little monster have a name? Or is it just Carmelo?
Yeah, his name is Carmelo.
Yeah.
That is Carmelo.
And what's with the sword?
Oh, well, you'll just have to find out in the next release. Let's just say he's going to be using that sword.
Okay.
Yeah. Few adventures.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me so much. It's been awesome.